What is going on, Raptors Nation? Luca here, back with a Raptors post-game video. Before we dive into this one, if you all can do me a solid favor, please hit a like on the video. It helps it a ton. And please subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content just like this. We're trying to hit 1K subs on this channel. So the Toronto Raptors dropped their first in-season tournament game to the Boston Celtics, 108-105, the final. The in-season tournament for the Raptors finally officially began, as the Raptors were the only team in the NBA that hadn't played an in-season tournament game. I gotta say, first things first, the Raptors definitely have the best in-season tournament court. Look good. I know a lot of people didn't like the jerseys. I was actually a fan of the jerseys. I thought overall it was a good look for the Raptors. Now, the way this thing started, we got deja vu. We all thought we were headed for another bad Raptors blowout loss as the Boston Celtics led big at half. But credit the Raptors. They made this a game. They battled back in the third quarter thanks to Pascal Siakam and Dennis Schroeder leading the charge. Pascal Siakam had 23 points, 11 of 16 from the field, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, actually showing up against a good to great team. I know I got on him for not doing that in the podcast the other day. Dennis Schroeder, unbelievable stuff. I mean, from Schroeder. You look at Schroeder, I mean, people are ready to write this guy off after 2 bad games. He was great in this one. 23 points, 9 of 19 from the field, 5 of 11 from 3, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Like I said, he and Siakam were big in that third as the Raptors made their comeback. Scotty Barnes had his worst game of the season against the Celtics the last time these two teams met last Saturday. Scotty Barnes, off game in this one to his standard, 14 points, 5 of 13, 2 of 6 from 3. He had a chance at the end of this one to tie the game up, had a clean look in the corner from 3, missed it as the Celtics held on to the 3-point win. As you look at Gary Trent Jr., he got the start in this one for OG Anunoby at 14 points, 4 and 9 from the field, did most of his damage early. He was a plus 14. And then the bench, Boucher had 6 points, McDaniels 4, Achua had 5, Flynn had 5, and Grady Dick continues to struggle. I said on X, a little concerned with Grady Dick right now. I know it's still early in his NBA career, only 12 games in. He's a rookie, but the Raptors literally drafted Dick and brought him in to hit shots and hit threes, and right now he is not doing either of those things. He has been very, very sloppy as well. Grady Dick struggling to say the least. The Raptors, it looked like they had a chance to win this one. I mean, you look at the Celtics, very off game from Tatum, who was 1 of 11 from 3, 8 of 22 from the field. Tatum, off night. Raptors couldn't take advantage of that. Porzingis, he only had 14 points. Holiday had 14. White had 13, but of course he hit the biggest shot of the game, that go-ahead triple, which ended up being the game winner. Jaylen Brown was the best Celtic with 23 points, and then the bench play for the Celtics was big. Hauser had a couple of big-time threes, especially in that first half. Well, all of them coming in the first half. Horford had 11, and then Pritchard had 5. As you look at some of the numbers here, Celtics shot at 45% from the field, Raptors 48%. Celtics, I mean, this is a team that live and dies by the 3. That 3-point shot wasn't falling, but they didn't care. They kept shooting it. Celtics were 16 of 46 from 3. Raptors actually shot better from 3 than the Celtics. Would you look at that? They were 12 of 33, which is actually better at 36.4%. Rebounds, Celtics were plus 3. Assists were identical at 29. Points in the paint, Raptors had the edge there, plus 14, 54 to 40. And largest lead, Celtics had a 16-point lead, and the Raptors' largest lead was 8. But you look at this one, you know, as much as I've gotten on the Raptors that, you know, there's a substantial gap, in my opinion, between them and the top-tier teams in the East, they at least made this thing a game, showed some fight without OG Anunoby. But my biggest takeaway from this one, guys, is actually the coaching. Darko Rajakovic, and I know he is going to get a lot of the criticism here, but this is basically my takeaway from Darko in this one. So first half, in the first quarter in particular, Siakam got off to a red-hot start. Now, unfortunately, Siakam picked up 3 quick fouls, and Darko sent him to the bench. Now, I thought we were going to at least see Siakam back in this game, you know, with 5 4 minutes left in the second quarter, but we didn't see Siakam for the rest of the first half. I mean, as soon as he sat out with those 3 fouls, we didn't see Siakam again from the third quarter. Now, I get it. This is a common thing when a key player, picks up 3 early fouls. You sit him out. But I disagree with this decision here because, number one, Siakam was red hot. He was your best player. And number two, you're playing the best team in the East, in the Boston Celtics. And when the Celtics were making that run, that would have been a perfect time to bring Siakam back into the game to try to stop the bleeding and try to mitigate the run that was being made. Obviously, Siakam didn't check back in. Celtics carried that big lead into halftime, and then that's when everybody thought, and myself included, here comes another blow of loss by the Toronto Raptors. And you could tell this was Siakam's night. He was on because he came back in to the third quarter. He didn't show signs of being cold for sitting out the rest of the first half. Got right back to work. Dennis Schroeder chipped in, like I said. And then the other very questionable decision, and arguably the worst, late in this game. So Scottie Barnes comes out. Darko Rajakovic takes Scottie Barnes out with, I think there was about 4 minutes and change left in this game. And this was a tight game. Raptors had made their run back and forth. I think it was a 1-possession game at that point. Darko takes Barnes out of the game. Now, this was a head scratcher because Scottie Barnes is one of your best, if not best player. He should not be coming out of the game late, especially in a moment like that. Barnes comes out, and the worst part about that was Barnes was waiting to check back into the game on the sideline for what felt like an eternity. A couple of minutes had gone by, but there was no stoppage in play. And Barnes was just standing there, waiting to come into the game. And then finally, Barnes checked back into the game. Those were some crucial minutes that Barnes sat out. And that is just inexcusable. I mean, Scottie Barnes was ready to come back into that game. He should have never came out. The Raptors weren't playing on the second night of a back-to-back. So fatigue definitely wasn't an issue. And, you're going up against the almighty Celtics. This is definitely looking like it's a winnable game at this point. Scottie Barnes playing 32 minutes, a couple extra minutes, ended up being a big difference in this one because not only did you lose Scottie Barnes offensively, but you lost him defensively where he makes a huge difference. So those decisions, in my opinion, very questionable from Darko. And, it's decisions like that that make you go from winning a game to losing a game. So to me, that is inexcusable. Like, okay, you get away with benching Siakam the rest of the first half. He's got his fouls. He makes up for it because he comes in the second half and, he has a great game. But the Scottie Barnes situation, I mean, you got to keep Scottie in there, man. You can't keep having these rotations where, Siakam leads a unit and Scottie leads a unit. You need your best players on the court in crunch time. And Scottie Barnes should have been out there when the Raptors were in that battle against the Celtics. And it honestly looked like the Raptors were about to steal his win, which would have been a huge win for them. But Raptors, they lose. Got to credit Derek White. That guy is clutch, man. Back-breaking 3. You knew it was going in once he had that clean look from the corner. Boston Celtics, now 2-0 in group play. Raptors, 0-1. I saw something that they're probably going to have to now win at least 3 games to have a chance at the group. It's going to be tough because the Celtics already have 2 wins and they have the win over the Raptors here, as it looks like the Celtics are in all likelihood going to win this group. So, look, you appreciate the effort the Raptors gave you in the second half. They could have easily rolled over. Maybe it was the special night magic in the air. Maybe it was Drake being in the building, the courts. I don't know what it was, but the Raptors definitely looked different in that second half. And they did show a lot of grit and fight, but they come up short and they can't get the job done. So that is going to conclude this breakdown, this recap. What was your biggest takeaway from this game, your reaction? The Toronto Raptors lose to the Boston Celtics. And, I mean, if you want to chalk it up like this, you can. Raptors so far this season against top-tier teams in the East, guys. 0-2 against the Celtics, 0-2 against the Sixers, 1-1 against the Bucks. And the Raptors are now 5-7. Before their date against the Detroit Pistons on Sunday. We'll see if they can right the ship then and get back in the win column. That is it for me. It's Lucas signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Stay safe.